Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Sarah.
And today's podcast was suggested by a viewer named Janat, and he's all the way from Kazakhstan, and he wanted us to do a podcast about his country, and we thought that'd be a good idea because most people don't know anything about Kazakhstan, or if they do, it's just from what they know from watching that movie Borat, which really didn't really say much about it anyway.
Not in a positive way,
yeah.
Anyway. We definitely wanted to dedicate a podcast to it because we wanted people to know more about it.
And this is a huge country. It's about the size of Western Europe.
Which we were really surprised to find out.
I was, yeah. It's over 1 million square miles big, and it's located between Russia and China. And it was part of the old Soviet Union, but since then it's been independent since 1991.
So in 1994, the president decided to create a capital and named it Astana, which literally means capital.
Yeah.
And they began building these mix of these off-the-wall postmodern architecture, and these buildings now dominate the skyline of Astana.
Yeah.
And it almost, to me, looks like a city, the real Emerald.
Yeah, it's very, very
a real version of Emerald City from The Wizard of Oz. It's very futuristic, Catherine. Very colorful. And I read that it has been reported that they spend about 8% of the national budget to build these insane skyscrapers.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah. One example is Borat Tower, which is this 318-foot monument right in the middle of the city, and it's built to represent a giant tree with a golden egg in its branches. And there's a local myth that every year a sacred bird lays a golden egg in the branches of a poplar tree.
And you can take the lift to the very top, and you get this amazing 360-degree view of the city.
Wow.
And it's inside this massive glass and aluminum ball that's at the very top of the Borat Tower. And it's very customary for visitors to place their hands inside these hands and make a wish. And I guess supposedly your wish is supposed to come true if you do that.
I can imagine. And speaking of the president, another standout building is the Presidential Palace. And it looks a little bit like the U.S. White House, but it has some Islamic touches, like a blue dome and a minaret sticking out of it.
Yes, and also one of the things that I loved most about this is it also has artificial trees that glow at night, and my favorite was they have Louis Armstrong songs that blare all night long from the bushes. So shout out to Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, when he must be very big there.
Yeah, I guess so, which is another surprise.
Yeah, and they have regular tours, so visitors can visit the palace for themselves.
That's cool.
Next, we're going to take a look at some of the getaway spots. One of them is called Borat National Park, and it's known as Kazakhstan, Switzerland. It's a few hours from Astana, and it's just full of pine trees and mountains and lakes and steppes. And I wondered what a steppe was, and we found out that that is sort of like what the U.S. would call a prairie.
Yeah,
just
grasslands.
Grasslands, right.
Borat Park, like you said, Catherine, it's about 155 miles north of Astana. And there's a legend that says when God was creating the world, Borat got only these grass steppes, and that angered the people. So they asked God for more natural beauty.
Yeah.
And in turn, he decided to give them these mountains, the pine and deciduous forest, all the lakes and fields, and the grassy steppes with flowers all together, all in one place. Today, it's considered one of the most beautiful places in Kazakhstan, and they actually call it the Pearl of Kazakhstan. Of course, we would never know this just from watching Borat.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah. And further afield is the Sharon Canyon, and Jeanette referred to that as the little brother of the Grand Canyon here in the U.S. And from the pictures I've seen, I would say that's right, because it's got a lot of those same unusual rock formations.
Yeah, it does. Amazingly looks like the Grand Canyon, and it is in southeast Kazakhstan near the border of China. And just like the Grand Canyon, it's great for hiking, camping. You can actually raft the river.
Yeah, pretty tough rafting.
Yeah, the river's really rough, but you can still do it. And you can take helicopter tours over it, which is a really great way to get amazing views from above.
So that's really something to see as well. We hope you've enjoyed our visit to Kazakhstan, and we're going to post more about it on our blog, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
As always.
Yeah, and we'll have all of that at the end of our podcast.
And we'll see you next time on The Coolest Stuff on the Planet.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.